In this lesson 5b, String Class Methods, you will learn how to use the string class and its various methods. You will learn how to instantiate a string object and assign values to a string object. You will understand what it means to reassign values to a string object. The immutability concept is discussed. You will have a better understanding of the input and output process with strings, especially with the commands next, next line, next int, next double, print, printline, and printf. You will learn how to use methods from the string class, such as length, char_at, index of, equals, ignore case, substring, to lowercase, to uppercase, trim, and compare to. You learned in an earlier lesson that the word string in programming means string of characters. A string is a Java data type stored as an array of characters in contiguous RAM memory, meaning that each character is literally next door to the next one. You also learned earlier that a string is not a primitive data type like int or double. It is an object of the string class, which means that it not only has an array of characters as data, but it owns several important methods or functions it can use in processing its own string data. This is different than primitive data types such as int and double, which only store data and do not own any methods. The string class is one that defines a string object, which has several important capabilities. Conversely, the math class does not define and create an object, and only has standalone or static methods that only work on external data sent through parameters. The string class does create an object, and the methods act on the internal data that belongs to the current string object. Strings are very important and quite prevalent in programming. For example, everything that is input or output in Java, or for that matter any programming language, is a string. Only when it is converted or parsed inside the program does it behave like the specific data types, int, double, boolean, etc. This process was discussed earlier in lesson 3a. In the output statements print, printline, and printf, the parameters, the values in parentheses, are all strings. The same is true for the input statements next and next line. Each one actually takes a string from the keyboard or data file. For the numeric input statements like next int and next double, you learned in lesson 3 that two processes actually happen with each method. The numeric value is input temporarily as a string, then it is converted or parsed into the actual numeric value. If you try to input a normal word like tree using the next int or next double statements, an input mismatch exception error will occur and the program will stop. See the next slide for an example of this. Here you see a program where you're supposed to enter a decimal value, but instead the word tree is input using the method next double, and you can see the error message input mismatch exception. To declare or instantiate a string object means to bring it into existence in computer memory. Below are two examples of this. String name is assigned John. String day is assigned a new string Monday. Both statements instantiate new string objects. Unlike a primitive variable, once a string object is instantiated, it cannot be changed in its current location in memory. The term for this is immutable, which means unchangeable. Although you cannot change a string object, the variable can be reassigned. String name is assigned Frankie, and then name is reassigned Crystal. In the example above, the name object was not changed, but it was reassigned a different string value, which is possible. This means that a completely new memory location was created and the variable name was re-referenced or repointed to that new memory location containing the new string data. The previous string object was then recycled by the internal garbage collector. The next few slides examine the subtle yet important difference between primitive and object reassignment. Int age is assigned 55. In Lesson 2, the difference between primitive and object storage was discussed. A primitive, like the one shown here, is a memory location that actually stores the data. Int age gets 55, age gets 56. When a primitive variable is reassigned, the actual content of the same memory location is altered. String name gets Sally. An object or object reference is actually a memory location that stores another memory location, actually referencing or pointing to that other memory location in RAM that contains the actual data. The memory location that is referenced actually contains the string data along with all the methods that belong to that data, defined by the string class. When a reassignment occurs, an entirely new object in a new memory location is created and the old object is destroyed and its memory recycled. Accordingly, the memory location address is changed in the object reference as shown below.